Okay, so the time has finally come when I'm going to actually assemble all the shafts and gears in the gearbox. So let's see, we've replaced the gear selector forks, and the other thing that we've replaced is this dog, this gear selector dog that slides on the lay shaft, and it goes in and out of the gears, you know, to either select a gear. Oops, trying to do this on camera. Either select a gear or not select a gear. And what's happened is, over the years, these teeth, if you can just see, if I was on macro, you'd probably be able to see better, but they're just getting warmer. They're trying to push their way into the different gears. So then Seb, dear old Seb, supplied me with a new old stock, and you might be able to see that the wear on the edge of the teeth is where they sort of go in, and there is no wear because obviously it's new. Okay, apart from that, all the gears, everything seems fine. However, I have identified a problem with the main shaft, which is very worrying. I think, oh dear, because this is a different gearbox shell that we're putting all the gears in, I have a horrible feeling that this main shaft will only go with my old gearbox shell, and that I need a new main shaft because I think it's too long. But we'll come to that later. But I'm pretty devastated because what's happened is, obviously, I've dry assembled everything, which is, it's a real nightmare doing this box. I tell you now, there's going to be a lot of edits in this because you have to put it like all together at the same time. So all the gears, everything goes in at the same time, and it's a total nightmare. Anyway, I dry assembled it, you know, to get used to trying to do it, and I think the main shaft is too long, but we'll come back to that. And what I'm hoping is, being the main shaft, that just comes in and out. You know, when all the gears and that are in, then you can just take the main shaft in and out without disturbing everything else. So I'm going to put everything else together anyway. Right, okay, so this time I was dry assembling, so I'm a bit nervous this time. Well, A, I'm on camera, and B, I'm having to lubricate everything so that if I have to take it all apart again, it's going to be a mess. So I've got some glue. I'm just going to put it on the on all the bushes. The bushes, particularly for the lay shaft and also for the selector shaft where they go in the bottom of the gearbox. Okay, I'm not going to put any in the main shaft bushes at the moment because, as I say, I think I might be replacing that. Anyway, and we can add the glue later because the main shaft just slides out, as I said. I'll just make sure I've got enough. This is, I think I mentioned before, this is a special mixture of oil and grease, so correct sort of consistency from Dragonfly motorcycles. Okay, so I've got that in there. Right, what's next? Then I've got the lay shaft. Let's try and get this right. So I've got the lay shaft, which to all intents and purposes looks pretty what's the word, even, sort of equal either side, but it's not. This part here is much longer than on this side. Yeah. So it looks the same, and it could go in either way, but it can't because you need the long section down in the gearbox. So then the first thing I'm going to do is, and this is where it all starts getting a bit difficult, I'm going to put, can we see this? Yeah. So that's fourth gear, I think. Anyway, that's going to go on first on the lay shaft. And we're going to put some glue. But of course, I mean, when the gearbox is all together, then I will fill it full of glue. but obviously we need to just get things lubricated to begin with. Right, so that's just going to slide on. That goes in the gearbox, towards the bottom of the gearbox, and so fourth gear with the open end upwards, that goes on there. Then we got the fifth gear, which goes on the splines underneath fourth gear. And I took a photo, and I know that I think this could go either way up, but it did go, it went this facing up this way when I took it off. Whoops. See, this is the trouble, everything starts coming apart. So it goes on the splines. Come on. There we go. Whew. And so that will now go down inside that top hat bush. That top hat bush in the gearbox. Hopefully in a minute. Right, so that's the lay shaft. Now, at the same time, we have to put the selector shaft in at the same time. This is where things start getting awkward. So I've lubricated all the selector shaft, the selector forks, but I need some glue. It's obvious which way this goes in, because that end obviously comes out of the gearbox, and that is the end that goes down into the gearbox, into the bush at the back end of the gearbox. It can only go in one way. I've got to put some glue on there. Okay, so where we start getting a bit tricky. So then I have the main shaft, second and third gear. Main shaft, second and third gear, with a groove in the middle, and that groove has a selector fork on it. Put a bit of glue in there, and again, I'm not going to grease the inside, because that's on the main shaft, and as I say, we might be replacing that anyway. So then that selector fork, the bottom selector fork, goes in with the large gear facing downwards, because that large gear is going to go inside the high gear. You see the high gear, it's got the teeth on the inside, and these teeth will go in there. At the same time, then I've got my dog for the lay shaft, and this will be moving the gears, adjusting the gears on the lay shaft. Again, either the dog will engage or not, and that's going on this selector fork. Yeah, with the large size facing outwards. Now, also what I've done is this dog runs on the lay shaft. You can just see it on the splines, and it needs to run evenly. So what I've done is, before I fitted it, I ran this dog up and down the splines, and then found the one that was the smoothest by turning it one tooth at a time. So then what I've done is I've marked the top of the dog with a blob of Tipex, and I've marked the outer bit of the lay shaft with Tipex, so that hopefully the teeth, when the dog goes on, it will go on where it's smoothest. Okay. Then I'm going to actually take that back off again. I've got loads of glue on the inside of the dog. Yeah. It's going to be fun in a minute, I'm sure. And glue on the actual, you see, the trouble with this lay shaft is every time you turn it that way up, all the gears fall off. And in a minute, we're going to want to turn it that way up. So it's pain. Right, I'm going to put some on the shaft. Yeah, okay. Great. Okay, marvellous. Then I'm going to, oh, and I need some gloop on the bottom of the lay shaft. Nearly forgot that. Okay, then I'm going to put the lay shaft in the gearbox. I think hopefully you can see this. So that's the trouble is, if I turn this that way up, the gears just slide off the bottom. So you have to do it kind of sideways, and this gear here, it's got a bit of tissue or something in that tooth. There we go. This gear is going to engage with the fifth gear that's already in there, the high gear, the sleeve gear. So let's see if I can get that in. It's already come off. I think I'll have to start again already. Yep, it's already come off the end. So try again and tilt the gearbox upwards. Come on. Not doing well. Phew. Ooh, scooch of guns. Right. Lay shaft now fitted with fourth and third gear attached. Now we have the selector shaft, which has got both dogs, well, both gears ready. Right, I think I've got that round the wrong way. I've got the wrong selector fork in the wrong dog. So I'm going to take that one off. I'm going to put that one in there. Is that right? No. Nope. No, I just didn't have the forks round in the right position, I think. Yeah, that's better. Yeah. So they're on the right forks, but the forks are facing the wrong way. So now the main shaft is on the left and the lay shaft is on the right. I've got my Tipex. I'm going to turn the dog so the Tipex is roughly in the right position for the Tipex. Put some gloop if I've not already done. I'll get back on there. Right, put some gloop on the bottom of the selector shaft. And then we try and slide it down. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put them, for various reasons, I'm now going to loosely fit the main shaft but dry. So I'm just putting the main shaft in through the back of the main bearing. There it goes. So that's the main shaft in. Okay, but I'll be taking it out again. But the reason I put that in is it provides a guide and stops things like slopping around a bit. I found it easier with the main shaft already in, but I'm not lubricating that because I'm going to take it out again. So then that goes, this double dog goes over the main shaft. But hey, it's not a dog, it's some gears. It acts like a dog. Okay, and down it goes. And then yeah, so it starts going home now. So it's loosely on the shaft and so on, but obviously it's far from home. Now this is the bit that I've had a nightmare with. So now this dog here, this has to fit over the layshaft, but it's on splines. And unless the splines are absolutely 100% lined up, it will not. You know, you can't, that it won't slide over. And even then it doesn't like sliding over. And I've spent, when I dry assembled it before, it must have taken me 15 minutes at least to encourage that to go on. This. Once that is on, then we're done. But that's why I found the main shaft helped, because it helps to like line everything up. Otherwise everything's can be at a slight angle. But having the main shaft in place helps like square that up so it's got more chance of going on. So I don't know how well you can see this, but I'm now going to attempt to get this damn dog over the lay shaft, and I turn it to line up my the marks I made before, and then I've got to try and encourage it to go down. But unless it, like I say, unless it's 100%, it just won't go. Unless it's exactly in the right place. And that's the problem I've been having. Getting grease everywhere now, but I've got to. So I have to look down and try and check that the splines are in exactly the right place relative to each other for the dog to slip on. Because unless they're not, there's no way it's going to go on. Okay, and I've got a it took me 15 minutes before, literally, so I can see it's going to take that again. It's just a question of jiggling everything till that damn dog goes over the. It's going to be a lot of cuts now. I'll let you know how long it took me when I finish it. Wow, yeah, right. So let's see if I can. Oh, probably better. I don't know why I didn't put that on before. I can probably actually see what I'm doing now. Wow. So it's actually gone on. So this dog, can you see that there's yeah, it has to go on. Has to go on over these splines here. I don't know if you can see. And obviously the splines at the bottom you can't see them because they're underneath the dog. Anyway, eventually that took about 5 minutes in real time to line them up. What I did try and do, I did try putting all the shafts together and putting them all on at the same time with that dog already engaged. But the problem with that was that those two damn pesky gears at the bottom of the lathe shaft, every time you moved it, they just slid off. And it was, so I gave up on that. Anyway, that does seem to have worked. That does seem to, we're in and everything's kind of turning. Yeah, oops. Get it off the ground, that always helps. Yeah, so we're all good. We're all good. So what we're going to do now is I'll finish off putting the gears on, but then I'll show you the problem that I think I've got with the main shaft. So then we've got the second gear on the lay shaft, and again this has got the sort of teeth inside, which again are going to engage with the dog when necessary. So I'll put some gloop on inside, because obviously when I refilled the box with this oily grease, it will get to most places, but it won't get onto the actual insides of the shaft, insides of the gears. That just slides on there, down on, great, okay. And then we've got first gear on the lay shaft, sorry, and that's got splines, so that's going to go onto these splines. There we go. And so that's all the gears now on the lay shaft. And then the last gear we've got, which is our problem gear, is the first gear for the main shaft. And again, we've got the teeth on the inside, which are going to engage with the sort of dog gears there. So again, I'm going to put some glue on the bearing. Oh, I said I wasn't going to do this thing. I'm going to take it off. There's a bit of glue, won't do any harm. I'm going to because I know I'm going to be taking this main shaft back out. So now I know this gear. I know from having tried it, it spins freely when it's in the right place on the shaft, but it's quite tight, you know, getting it on. But when it's in its right place, it runs smoothly. So I thought, oh God, it's jammed, this gear, but it's not jammed. It's only there when it's actually in the right place. There, it runs fine. Now we got let's have a look. There we go. That's gone home. Good. Phew. So nominally that's the gearbox all assembled in terms of the gears. Here's my problem. Don't know how well you can see this, and I can't see the camera myself. But that's the first gear there. You can see that. But it's sticking out beyond the end of the gearbox shell. So when I put the inner gearbox in, well, it won't fit, because the inner gearbox, of course, goes flush up, and there's a bearing. So that bush there should go on the end of the bearing. So yeah, let's have a look. Oh no, no, it won't go. Just thinking it went for a minute, but yeah. So if I move the main shaft back down, if I move, then it goes down. But when the main shaft is fully home, it sticks out, which obviously it shouldn't be doing. So that's about the right position, but just with a little bit sticking out, which is going to sit on the bearing. But that means this end, you know, I'm proud by about 1/2 inch. So that's fully home, that sticks out. That's fully home, that sticks out. So I think I've got a problem. I'm not sure. I just don't know. I'm a bit confused. Unless maybe I've done something wrong. I'll tell you why. Because, of course, the lay shaft fits perfectly. That stops in exactly the right place. Well, if the lay shaft stops in the right place, why doesn't the main shaft? Confused now. Because, you know, you'd think they'd both be wrong, wouldn't you? So to have one right and one wrong, it must be that I'm doing something wrong. Don't understand. But you see, there's a shoulder that this gear sits on. It can't, you know, it physically can't go in anymore. You know, what I've done is I've taken all the gears back out and just had the main shaft sitting in. And you know, it sits on that shoulder. So I think hang on. Oh no, no. Yeah, it sits on a shoulder, you see, so I mean it just can't go in any. Yeah, there's a shoulder, it literally can't go in any further. I don't think. No, yeah. I don't understand. So I'm a bit of an impasse because I don't understand. And until I do understand, I can't continue. But I'm now thinking there must be something I've done wrong. Because the layshaft, so like if this is a shorter shell, then the layshaft would stick out as well. Either that or the boss has a different, oh yeah, because we were saying about maybe having the oil, oh I don't know. You know, maybe the actual, just a bit here for the main shaft is different, I don't know. I don't know. Damn.